What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. Have a bunch of stuff to get into today. The FTC sending shots to all three game companies about different terms with their warranties, and it technically is just to pretty much benefit all consumers. So it looks good as long as none of the three companies try to appeal or fight back against it, I guess. We'll see how all of that goes. We're going to get into that. And then we also have a bunch of little pieces of news that we're going to go over as well. If you missed it, Rockstar released the Red Dead Redemption 2 third story trailer, and it's shaping up to look really good. They went over a few things, had a bunch of hints at different parts of the story, and they even showed the time period, 1899, right at the end of, I guess, the Wild West times with all the cowboys and everything, right at the end of that. So it's looking really good. The visuals look great. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. Of course, the world's gonna be very big, very open, and it's probably gonna be one of the biggest games of the year. We already had God of War. Now we're going into something like Red Dead Redemption 2. It's going to be very interesting to see at the end of the year which one of those games fights it out for something like Game of the Year, or there's some other ones. We're going to see. We're going to see about that. And then also, we did get another game that went backwards compatible, one that I really liked from the 360 and PS3 days. Saints Row 2 is now backwards compatible on your Xbox One or your Xbox One S or your X. If you have the disc, you can pop it in, and they'll also be selling it on the online shop as well. Great game. It's pretty cool to see Saints Row 2 now backwards compatible. I'll wait to see what performance differences there are, as I'm sure places like Digital Foundry will be checking that out, and we'll see if the frame rate is higher, visual quality, and everything. It's me pretty neat to see. And then we also saw Activision CEO Bobby Kotick actually take a bit of I guess a pay cut here. I say a bit. He still gets paid a lot. He gets paid $28.6, basically $28.7 million, and that's actually down from $33 million. Kotaku had the full scoop on this. That is still at least 300 times more than the median Activision employee there, so he still makes quite a bit of money. And of course, Activision is another company that was experimenting with loot boxes and microtransactions heavily. You see how much their CEO makes. Still a big pay cut there, you know. I mean, down $5 million. They're going to figure some stuff out, obviously. Maybe make some cuts other places, or just, you know, more microtransactions, less game development time, you know. I mean, that third yacht, it's not going to buy itself. But yeah, guys, that's some of the quick news for today. Let's get into some of the big stuff now. So a week or two ago, we talked about the FTC sending out letters, basically to different companies. They sent some out to car companies like Hyundai, for example, and some others, basically talking about their warranty information, things that they didn't like, the wording. They sent them out to Sony and Nintendo. They named those two specifically. They didn't like things like warranty stickers being broken on something like a PlayStation 4, meaning that we cannot have our warranty honored anymore. So if you take it to like a third party that then repairs the system, your warranty is then null and void according to Sony's language and their verbiage in their warranty terms. The FTC did not like that. That was one that they named specifically. If you take a look on the back of your PS4, you'll see warranty stickers. We've had warranty stickers on systems for a long time. I remember the 360 was a big one, the original Xbox, the PS2. The Wii kind of had them, but they were easy to put back on. They were little stickers. And even like the 3DS, same thing, they had little stickers. They would also have ways to tell if you've tampered with it, though, outside of that. But the FTC does not seem to like that. Now, they kind of had, I guess, issues with all three companies based on verbiage they've used on their website or in their terms of service for their warranty. For example, we talked about Sony when it came to the stickers on the back of your PlayStation 4. With Nintendo, they seem to cite using non-licensed third-party devices, like an accessory like a third-party dock. Using something like that apparently will void your warranty, even going as far as a third-party controller possibly being an issue that would keep your system from being repaired. Not even opening the system, just using a device that's sold at a brick-and-mortar retail store that has, I guess, the ability to work with your system, but Nintendo doesn't like that, so that would wipe your repair or your warranty claim completely off the table. Microsoft, or the issue FTC had with Microsoft, is that they talk about how you can't have it repaired at a third-party repair site. That apparently is also not something the FTC likes. So they have now sent essentially warnings, or a letter that says basically get everything in order, or there could be legal action. Now, will there be? Maybe. It's possible the FTC isn't actually going to do anything legally, but it's very possible that they do. And this is great for consumers because the warranty is one of the worst things to have to worry about being broken, because trust me, companies will find ways to not honor your warranty. If there's even a glimmer of there being some way that it's been tampered with, they'll try not to honor your warranty. That's the way it goes, right? People make jokes, oh, it broke down a day after warranty, or the little sticker, maybe I don't know, came off or something, or maybe you did open your system. Well, they don't want to honor that warranty. It's also very interesting that they could have to honor the warranty even if you decide to open your system up and tamper with it. I think that's a little weird that you could technically open it and potentially break it. I don't think it goes that far, right? I don't think you can open it, scrape a screwdriver across the board, close it back up because you want a new system and then send it away. But it seems to be more so about opening the system, not necessarily tampering with the system. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens to these three companies going forward. But as someone like myself who would repair systems constantly, and I would always have to tell people, listen, your warranty is going to be voided once this thing gets opened. It'd be great to tell people now, well, yeah, the right to repair shows that your warranty is still in effect. Even when I take this, open it, repair it, and then give it back to you, your 1-year warranty is still in effect. Next up, let's talk about Xbox One sales, because in a surprising move, Microsoft kind of told us something about them. It's not normal. Usually they like to lump them in with one big category and say, this is doing well, it's making this much money. I'm not going to tell you how much profit that division is making, but it's making $2.6 billion or whatnot. You know, great. They never want to tell us profit or anything, but they did tell us that Xbox One sales are up. And we've kind of figured that with some of the NPD rankings, where the Xbox One is actually getting closer to the other systems, in some cases actually even beating the Nintendo Switch in certain months. That's pretty impressive, honestly, for a system that's been struggling in the NPD and the sales charts. Don't even think we'll talk about something like Japan. It's not going to work out. But in the NPDs, they seem to be doing better. And Microsoft told us on their own site in an update leading up to E3, telling us, by the way, the biggest E3 is coming from them. Interesting. We'll be keeping an eye on that one, obviously. But they've told us that Xbox One sales are up 15% year over year. Now, it makes sense considering this time last year there was no Xbox One X, which is a very premium item when it comes to price tag, $500 versus $250 or even $300. Yeah, sales will be up. Now, if they're talking about individual units, that's actually fairly impressive, to be honest, because not much has changed other than the X's price tag. In fact, I would argue that the X would be harder to buy, so they would just buy the regular one. Although there is that possibility that you have that thought that, well, I can't afford the X, but this $300 or $250 Xbox One X looks a whole lot cheaper compared to that $500 one. Either way, seems like their sales are up leading into E3. That's a good thing. Now, Microsoft, you just need to impress us at the big trade show. Next up, let's talk about the Media Create sales charts, because we've been going over them every week, right? It's a fun chart to follow because we actually get real numbers that we can kind of track in the Japanese market and see what's trending, what's doing well, and where the system sales are, because we've been watching the PS4 struggle in the past couple of weeks, right? Well, this week, things have turned around, and we also saw God of War do better in its second week than, honestly, I was expecting. Labo had a bit of a drop-off as well, but it's not a terrible drop-off. Let's take a look at the top 10 games here. Then we'll start with a very interesting title, actually a baseball game, GQ Powerful Pro Baseball 2018 from Konami, by the way. Interesting. That takes the top 2 spots. The Vita got a number 2 spot. That is awesome. 124,831 for the PS4 version, 58,435 for the Vita version. It's very impressive to see a Vita game almost at number 1 spot. In fact, if this didn't come out on the PS4, the Vita would have taken the number 1 spot. God of War dropped down to number 3 at 29,517. That's actually better, like I said, a 36% drop, better than what I thought. I thought it was going to drop further. In fact, the Labo Toy-Con dropped 71%. That's the variety kit, down to 25,914, which is a pretty big drop. I mean, let's be honest with that. But still, it still is selling. Splatoon 2, 18,664. Kirby Star Allies is actually coming up on 500,000. 500,000 is within striking distance of that, 17,950. Down from there, a game that I probably wouldn't even be able to pronounce if I tried. I'll just say Aqua Plus, 14,426. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe underneath that, 13,191. SD Gundam G Generation. There are a lot of new games here, by the way. That's the one on the Switch. I haven't thought about importing it, but that'd be interesting to see if it has an English language option, by the way. If you know, let me know down in the comments. I'm honestly curious. 11,975. And then the 10th spot is taken up by Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 2 Kai. Moving over to hardware, Nintendo Switch is still at the top spot, 38,752. That is a bit of a jump, little 4,500 jump from last week. Down from that, the PS4 had a big jump. And that makes sense because that baseball game seemed to really push units well. 35,000. That is a massive jump from last week's 13,500. That's great. The 3DS, 7,733, within margin of error, about 300 or so more. The Vita actually had a good jump, almost 2,000 system jump there. Very close, but it was about 1,600 or 1,700. 4,562, and the Xbox One surprisingly actually jumped up to 179 units. So it was actually a good week for PS4. While it still couldn't take the top spot with a pretty big release here, the Switch just seems to sell by default. Even without like a big game or big title to sell, still moves units, probably just because of the large library of games, Splatoon 2, Kirby, even Labo at this point, Zelda, there's Mario Kart 8, there's just so much stuff on the Switch there that people are going to buy or buy a Switch for. The Switch will be probably the top spot for a long time to come, and that's without a big game like a Pokemon, like a Yokai Watch, like really any of Nintendo's first-party IPs releasing. Well, it still does well enough, but the PS4 did climb back up to in the 30s, which is great. Seeing it over 30,000 is a plus. I do think it is from that baseball game, but hey, when Konami releases a game like that does that well, I think everyone should just be happy that they actually had something that wasn't, terrible. But still, good week overall. Great to see another performer over 120 or over 100,000, I should say, with the Konami's baseball game, and even the Vita at the second spot. Who saw that one coming? Well, the Switch is going to continue to roll along here. Naruto was also included in these charts, but it was way down at number 15, just over 6,000 units, but that is a re-release of older games that generally re-releases just don't sell super well in Japan. They're usually looking for the newer games, and it's clear they'd rather buy something like a Splatoon 2 on the Switch than buy, I guess, older Naruto games. But overall, it was a good week in Japan. Then finally, in our last bit of news, check this one out. Steam added official Nintendo Switch Pro controller support. Now, if you don't know, you can use a range of controllers with Steam. You can use the Xbox One controller, the 360 controller, I believe the PS3 controller. I know the PS4 controller definitely works. You can use a range of controllers, but the Nintendo Switch Pro controller was kind of supported, kind of not. Well, they have now added official Nintendo Switch Pro controller support, and they actually posted this over on their Steam community board saying, "Greetings from the Steam controller team. We're pleased to announce that the latest Steam client beta adds support for the Nintendo Switch Pro controller. We think it is a great device with a feature set that pairs nicely with your Steam catalog. The D-pad is ideal for fighting games and platformers, and the gyro enhances aim in your action first-person shooter titles. If you'd like to test it out, you will need to opt into the Steam client beta, then follow the steps below. We hope you enjoy, and as always, we welcome your feedback." That's right. Yep, you heard that right. Gyro controls. Yes, gyro controls are completely usable in Steam with your games if you want to use them with the Nintendo Switch Pro controller. So if you're used to something like how Splatoon 2 plays with the gyro controls on the Pro controller, you can use them in any of the first-person shooters you want. Here, they show a pretty cool little example with Portal 2, and from what I've been seeing from other people, HD Rumble seems to work also, at least Rumble to a degree. I don't know if it's like HD Rumble like we see, because usually HD Rumble has to be designed for the game specifically to take advantage of it, but man, there you go. If you like the Pro Controller, which I know a lot of people really do like the Pro Controller despite some of its flaws with the D-pad, being able to hit multiples at the same time, different direction pads, there are people who like it as a complete controller. The battery life is amazing, right? I mean, it lasts for a long time compared to others, and overall the feel and everything is good. I still like the offset sticks because I like the Xbox type controller, so it seems like a good solid controller. I guess really it's just missing those analog triggers, but overall, other than that, it's just an outstanding controller, I think. So there you go. If you want to use it in Steam on any of your PC games, you can do it. And ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for Newswave today. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, guys. It really helps out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave a bunch of comments down below about everything we talked about today, whether it is the FTC taking aim at the Xbox, at Microsoft with the Xbox, at Sony, at Nintendo. This seems like a good thing for consumers if they can get any of these companies to budge on their warranty information. Seriously, I've been fighting with this for 10 years with repairing systems, so I can only imagine for people who are still doing repairs at different stores and everything, they must be super excited, just dancing over this thing. It's seriously, this is amazing if this goes through and they can get their warranty to change, but it's a big if. Also, let me think about the Media Create sales charts. What do you think about Xbox sales being up? And of course, let me know what you think about like the Red Dead Redemption 2 trailer, and of course, the Switch Pro controller with Steam. Have you tried it yet, or are you going to go try it now? Let me know what you guys think about it down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.